Good evening, guys. It's a 5 or girls. It's a 5:36 p.m. Today is Wednesday, FOMC day, right? So this week is a two catalysts, right? So one was today, and another one is going to come tomorrow, day after tomorrow, which is Friday, quadruple witching, right? So now today is gone, right? And now we left with what? Tomorrow. Tomorrow we have no event, right? But then day after we have a quadruple witching. So tomorrow you can see a move, you know. I think between now till tomorrow end of the day, we may be able to see a move, you know, some kind of move, either up move or down move. That I don't know, you know. That I will know probably early in the morning, you know. Then I will know. I might have idea like which way price wants to go eventually, you know. For till end of the day, and then after that we have to wait till quadruple witching day, you know. So overnight is the key now for the next 2 days. So that's the story here, right? And I said, you know, upward direction, price may go somewhere today, but it will survive or not, whether it's a questionable, right? Overnight prices, this is the common notes for all indexes. So overnight price is trying to stay above yesterday's close in all the indexes. It was able to touch yesterday's high also, but it was unable to go through it, right? So what this thing is telling you, that price, somebody is buying at yesterday's close, you know, and they basically held it, right, throughout the overnight. And RTH price did not come there at all before FOMC, and then during FOMC, both in NQ, ES, Russell and Dow, price came down close to or at yesterday's low, or sorry, yesterday's close, or little bit lower, basically in the same vicinity, right? So now you count it from yesterday 6 p.m. to today 2 p.m. or 2:30 p.m., right? How many hours? It's 6 and 6, 12 and 12, 18, 20 hours, right? So 20 hours price held it above those areas, right? Somebody defended it pretty much, right? So 20 hours of buying going on, I would say, right? Indirectly, because price was holding above it, so somebody is buying higher up, right? And now during FOMC, in 2 minutes or 5-10 minutes, if price comes straight down there, what's gonna happen, right? It could be exhausted there, or it could be the beginning of the new down wave, right? Could be either or. Considering Powell is scheduled to speak in after that 10-15 minutes, right? After the price reached, let's say, that close, and then after 10 minutes Powell was supposed to talk, right, or scheduled to talk. So do you think price will just go down, 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 down before his speech, or somebody will take a profit at the closing? See my point? So that's why I took the profit at 400 in NQ, which I shared that trade, right, in Mboxwave trade Discord and my Discord both together. 490 was the short, 400 was my exit. So now you understand the rationale behind the exit. Why? You know, because it has to make a logical sense, right? Since we are waiting for FOMC minute release, and after the release some move happens because of the release effect, then people are also not going to do anything until Powell opens his mouth, right? So that's why. Okay, so now so that's the FOMC story about why I took the exit and all these things, right? Now before FOMC, now here the probabilities, right, what could happen. So because it's hard to guess though, right, but then I still try to guess it here, right? So before FOMC, if price breaks above yesterday's high, buyers will get 1 point in their favor, and then it may go higher during FOMC, you know, and it will try its best to tag Monday's first hour range after FOMC, you know, and it may stop there depending on the day's internal and amount of time left in the day, right? So let's pause here, right? So remember this statement, right? So if price breaks above yesterday's high, which was 81 in ES, so here this area 81, okay, it will try to tag first hour range from Monday's, which was around this area. That's the first hour range, right? And I also said 38.20, which is this area, 2250, which is this area. That's the max for the day, right? So now you know the picture. Max area for the day is 2250, which is this high, right? Which is where is it? Did I mention it somewhere? Here, potential 2250, correct? So that's the max area, right? Then breakout above 81, I'm saying it will try to take the first hour range, which is this, which is it closed, it basically attacked it here, right? So that would be your first trade, right of the open when it breaks out, right? So that's for breakout trade, right? Remember I said breakouts and breakdowns, right? Here basically today it is all about breakout and breakdowns, right? Yesterday's high breakout, low breakdown, close breakdown, Monday's first hour range breakout, something like that. You have to look for a signs, right? So yesterday it was different story. Yesterday I said look for failed breakout, failed breakdown. Today I am saying look for breakout, breakdown, right? And then now so this is the same story for NQ also, Russell also, same thing. So Russell going about 27, yesterday's high, that means you look for longs, right? NQ, so yes, these are the levels that will give you a trade. 62 for example, price rotated, right? 62 back and forth. You can literally say this was the FOMC low pretty much, right? And here it rotated, basically breakout above it, break down below it, NQ 400, see that, 454, hunting levels 346, right? Russell pending target 1691 was achieved yesterday, right? So now either it's going to break above 1691, break below 1691 hard, or goes above 1727, right? These are the dream number, 425 and 387. Crude, it's a range bound in this range, right? So 387, 425, which is 387, 425, those are the dream numbers, are very very powerful numbers. Entire day price stayed above the dream number, right? But during FOMC, what it did, look, dream number touch, first dream number touch, second dream number touch. Where is the FOMC high? Naked dream number from day before yesterday or yesterday, right? Look at this, exact to the dot, right? Not even 1 point here and there, to the dot, both dream numbers. See that? This is a naked dream number, this is today's dream number, right? And then, so why I took the short here, so I'll cover this. So this long you already know now, right? Because of the dream number, in Discord I said 470, and then any other level also. Hold on, so let me see. Now read this at 909, right? So I said 72, 58, 62, those two are important for overnight buyers, right? 72, which was, so opening was, hold on, so okay, so let me clean this garbage first, okay? That was my testing stuff. Okay, so where did it open? So 9 o'clock open was okay, so 9 o'clock open right here. See this line 72. Okay, let me draw it. 72, right? So that's the intraday line I gave, right of the open. So before open, right? So 72 are reported overnight buyers, 78, 81 is overnight sellers, NQ 504, 495 sellers, and 470, 425 buyers, right? So 470, 425. So look at this, beauty of it. 470, right? Look at this, opening right here. See, that was the long, but I put a different arrow because it's a risky one, right? Because it's right at the level. It can do two things, right? Either it can make buyers wrong and go down, or go higher, right? But that is the trade. That's why it's a different arrow, right? It comes with the risk. But once you see price going higher, right, and then break out about this pending naked dream number, at least you know it wants to go higher. Simple, right? So same thing here. Look at this, 72, right of the open, it held it, and price breakout above 78.81, which was overnight sellers level. At this point, this was your long right here, breakout long, pullback long. But the problem was this were the hunting levels, right? So that can act as a resistance. By the time NQ was already above this hunting levels, right? 409 500 level, 495 500. So NQ long, this long, pullback long, pullback long. When price gets here, you bail out right here. See that? Either here or on the way down. So both exit, you can take it here, right? Then the trading is over, right? Because FOMC day, only one trade is allowed, ideally, right? That is our process. So one trade, either you get it or you miss it, fine. Then you wait till FOMC. So that means there is no trade here, right? So I'm not going to discuss these things, correct? But so here there was a pullback, right? But ideally the situation was, man, trade session crashed on me now, right? So I have to restart it. Okay, hold on. Okay, so it is back now, right? But then my 1 minute chart, which was screwed somehow, right? It was corrupted. So that chart is gone now, right? So at least today we have to survive on 5 minute and 2 minute. Okay, no more for today. I'm not gonna walk you through that 1 minute chart now, right? But at least we know the reason for the first trade, which was around here, right? We were here, right? So and then NQ we were here, right? So we took the profit, right? And after that I said, no trade, right? So there is no trading here, right? But here you can see it. If you are observing it, you can see it. They were holding this CV website. That's the observation before FOMC. That was my observation. And then you can see it here also, right? So you are just watching it, right? There is no point trading here unless you know how to trade this damn thing back and forth, right? Back and forth was the way to go. Now there was very good trade right here in Mboxwave. Now there was also opening trade in Mboxwave, both longs in ES and NQ. I didn't check it Mboxwave in the morning, but later on, after lunchtime, right here, when I came back, I noticed something, right? And that's why I took this trade right here, the short here, and my target was here, right here at the SV web, and it was to the dot almost. My entry was right here at the top, and my target was here. It got filled. So, but that was using Mboxwave, right? Otherwise, I would not even trade, right? So, but morning there was a long setup here. That I later on, when I came here, I opened Mbox and I saw this trade. That was a very good trade. So I'm going to cover Mbox also later on in a few minutes. But that was the trade, right? After that, you can see it was ping-ponging, right? Between 62. Remember, 62 is also our one of the level. And this one, right? So price now went above yesterday's high but came back down. So now you can see both sides are active, right? So that means there is no trading here in this range, ideally, right? Then come into FOMC. The first clue I got for this short, you already know the reason now, right? That these are the sellers area, right? That now flip to the buyer side, right? Before FOMC, because buyers held this area, these blue lines, right? Yes, there was no control because there was no buyers, and it was actually sellers in ES, right? Because they were holding below this 81.78 sellers line. And Q, it was opposite scenario. Buyers were holding above it, right? So the question is what to do, going into FOMC right here after it opens at 2 o'clock, right? Price around FOMC, what to do? So you just look for a clue. So the clue was buyers are holding this area in NQ. It's technically the VWAP and these blue lines. So at least we know this area is powerful, right? So buyers needs to hold that area, right? And if they don't, selling will come at that point in time, right? So the question is, if price comes here, should you do anything? No, right? Of the FOMC, you don't do anything here, but you have to look for a clue, right? So, and I'll explain you what the clue is, right? So, and then 2 o'clock, which is ES, was here, right? So at 2 o'clock, when you see the first 5 minutes when bar was running, right, you can see it, price went above this area, correct? So that means sellers were up to here. See, this were the sellers area. So that's how you have to look into it. So I would say somewhere around this sellers area, right? Because before FOMC price got rejection from these areas, right? Above this, but from these areas, right? So you know some sellers could be there too, who knows, right? So we have to wait for price to take out this area, pull back, or you can take a breakout, okay? And this is the these are the hunting levels also, right? So ideally it's preferred you wait for it, these things. But what if then you're watching this thing that, oh, let's see whether it goes through it, right? And if here it try to make an attempt to go through it, but look at this. When you are seeing in real time, you can see in a smaller time frame, 1 minute you will see price coming straight down, right? The moment it went below, see, if buyers were too strong, right? See, here they were all sellers, and then buyers took out this area, right? But then you can see this, like the closing was not great here, otherwise you would see nice close up to here. That was the first clue I got it, right? Second clue, when it went there in a second candle, there was a tail coming down. That was the sign that something is up, these buyers are trapped. The moment it went below 81.78, that was a short right there. Same thing in Q2 and Q, you know. So it went higher here, right, of the open, first 5 minutes, then it tagged this blue area. Remember, I think I said somewhere that 606.500 is the area to watch, right? Then it went higher straight to dream number, right? And then it trail is coming down, strong tail, right? And it came down. See, the first time also it went higher and it closed right here at this high. Second time, this was the opportunity for buyers to go higher and close. Instead, came back down, sliced through this highs and going down, right? So I waited. At that point I knew something is up, you know. All I was looking for, please go below this, you know. And then it went below this. Perfect, because now see, the buyers already responded from here, from this area, right? Now if they were strong, there is no point coming back during FOMC, because the pressure should be there to the upside then, right? If not, then it's gonna go down, simple. So that's why you take this trade here and here together. Then the next area is 45 and 37 to remember in ES, right, based on the pre-market note. That was also closing from yesterday, you know. Entire, I already discussed, right, that since yesterday 6 p.m. they were holding above closing. So obviously first time down right here, when people are waiting for a Powell to speak, they're gonna take a profit here at least to be safer side. Same thing here, 400 area. See, now wait for Powell speech. See that? So that's why you take exit here, right? Then what happened? Obviously because of this, many of the day trader might have missed this short, right? So on the way up during the Powell speech or right before it, maybe somebody will try to short it out, you know, hoping that it will go down, right? Something like that. And that is what essentially it happens. And also another reason was there were some Fibonacci players too, right? So they were also trying to take their chances, right? And this was confluence area now, right? Because first move was down, pull back, down, right? That is what they are thinking. That's why you see this move come, right? But then ideally we should not be trading until Powell is done talking, which is until at least 230, 245. Onwards you can trade after 245 preferably, you know, or 235 or 245 after. So during Powell's speech, look at what happened. Price opened right around this low, right, when Powell started talking, and then it just trapped some players who are like eager to short, right, for whatever reason, or go long. Those who went long, they got lucky. Those who went short immediately during the speech, they got screwed, right? So at least you have to wait, as I am saying, right, 235, 245. So when you see this, immediately candle coming back up above, during Powell's speech, something is up, right? Otherwise price should have sliced through these things. Same thing here. That means people just did a gap fill trade here, right? There are few players who do gap fill, right? So they countered. So that's why they did counter trade long, right? And then you can see price went sliced through. See, look at this amount of bar here. Is that? See, that is what I was looking for. This kind of clean, nice closing, right? Strong bar. Look at this bar, right? And then next bar, breakout, correct? Now what? Now at this point, ideally you should not be trading, neither long, neither short. Why? Because now you see this sellers and now you see this buyers, right? So it's like a counter action, selling, buying, right? That means day is screwed during FOMC. You should not be going long, because there is no guarantee that price is going to pull back right here and go higher, slice through this, come back down here and bounce, come back down to this high, which is the case here that happened, and bounce, right? Because there is no guarantee now. Both sides are active. That's why you don't trade this price action regardless whether the candle is showing the strength. You can go with the flow, right? As I said, breakout, you can go with the flow, right? So yes, you can go with the flow based on the pre-market note, but this is the new piece of information that you have to club in, read it, that both sides are active. There is no point trading it because there is no probability that it will continue going higher or it will not stop you out. That's why there is no point trading it here. Okay, but it was a good trade here, right? You can see it, this 78.81 seller's line held it here, right? It was a confluence area also, same Fibonacci player, see, up, down, down, right? Up, down, pull back, up, right? Same thing here, okay? But it was not worth to trade it, Now if you are using Mboxwave or something, you may have seen trade here, but ideally I would say, no trading, right? So now let me cover Mboxwave very fast. So I already closed my Mbox, okay? So I'm going to walk you through here, right? So these are the screenshot I took it and I shared it in real time also. So these are the trades, right? So pretty much NQ, this is ES chart, right? This is ES or NQ? This is NQ, right? ES has the same story here, in the morning. You can see literally here, see that? So in the morning you can see it here, right? When price was chopping around of the open, you can see literally, look at this amount of buying, demand, right? Look at this also, on the way down also look at this, divergence and demand too, right? There is no selling here. And look at this, 100% imbalance. Ideally on the way down you can see this thing going lower, right? But it was holding above zero line. So it was imbalance going on here, right? And this one, look at this entire chop, this damn thing was going higher. This damn thing was also going higher, right? So there was a trade right here at this low or the breakout, So these were the long setup, and then later on this were also another long setup. Look at, there is no selling here, it's all buying. Look at this, there is not much selling going on, it's literally, it's a buying going on. So these were the two trades in NQ and ES, both longs, in the morning. Then what happened? Then later on, remember I said after lunchtime I shorted these things, right? This was my trade, right? Look at the beauty of this damn thing, ES, it was not a trade because ES was not that high. ES was roughly in the middle of the day's range at that time. But NQ, it tested this morning high, and you can see it, the demand was not that great here compared to this, and you can see then if you look underneath the hood here, look at this. While price was going higher, this guy was going down. Even at the time of this, this retest, look at, see these things. Barely there is no buying, literally is gone, right? And then you wait for the signals right here, and then you can short, right? And then obviously, where is the target? Target, remember I said VWAP, right? Or you can target this balance. There you go, right? That was a good trade here, right? And look at this cumulative delta also, no buying at all, right? So that was the trade in the noon time in NQ, around 12:40 or 12:30 or so. ES there was no trade, but NQ this was a very good trade. And if you took this trade, there is no point trading during FOMC. You protect your profit, come back tomorrow. No need to trade FOMC, and that be all.